Hey guys, Coach Jesse here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about core training. Brace your core, engage your core, tighten your core. All of that rubbish and nonsense aside, I want to talk to you about what it is, what it isn't, some of the prime functions that the core is designed to do, and how you can more effectively put these movements and patterns into your training routine so you can get better results. So you can lift heavier, stay injury free, and move the way you're meant to move. Okay? So I've got my trusty whiteboard here to keep me on point and make sure I don't go off any rabbit holes or any tangents. So the main thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. When we're talking about core training, I used air quotes there because a lot of people have no fucking idea where it is, what it consists of, or how to actually engage that area, is there's four main things we're looking to achieve or apply with our training to build the core, what I like to call the trunk. So that's this space, or that's this area between your hips and shoulders, okay? That's your trunk. The goal of core training is for you to be able to preserve a neutral spine, okay? I'm going to get to what neutral spine is in a moment and what it's not as well. So the four prime functions of your core are as follows. Anti-extension, so that's your ability to prevent your back from arching backwards, okay? It's anti-flexion, resisting your back wanting to round. It's anti-rotation, preventing your body from twisting when it shouldn't. And the last thing it has the capacity to do is what's called anti-lateral flexion, is to side bend you. So it's your ability to resist movement in all of those planes of motion. You resist arching, leaning backwards, flexing, rounding forwards, twisting sideways, and lateral flexion to the side like so. So it's a lateral motion, okay? If you can do those things, if your trunk and the muscles around your trunk, so there's 10 of them, by the way, okay? If all of your muscles do their intended function and you perform your exercise with the correct technique, you will preserve what is known as a neutral spine. Now, what is a neutral spine? A neutral spine is not straight, okay? Your spine, my next door neighbour's spine, it's not straight, okay? It has a natural S-curve. We all have a natural S-curvature in our spine, okay? So I'm not ramrod straight up and down like this. This is not my spine, all right? The natural curves of your spine. Your spine is going to have a slightly different S shape to mine, okay? Some people have a lordosis, which is a bit more of a sway back, a bit more pronounced arch in their lumbar. Some people have more of a kyphosis, a bit more rounded of the upper back. And some people have a scoliosis, which is a lateral curvature to their spine, okay? The fastest runner in the world, Usain Bolt, has a scoliosis. Now, me as a strength coach and personal trainer, I'm not going to go over to Usain Bolt and be like, okay, Usain Bolt, we need to fix you. His spine is perfectly capable of getting him to do the tasks and activity that are important to him, which is running in a straight fucking line, 100 meters as fast as possible. So for him, his scoliosis is perfectly fine. He doesn't present with pain. It doesn't diminish or decrease his physical capacity. So that's his neutral, okay? He's dealing with his own unique spine just as you and just as I would, all right? So it's natural curves of your spine, and everybody's spine is different. I've put my body through the paces and through the ringer over the last 32 years that I've been alive. You've done the same. All right? I've had X amount of years of training and lifting weights and swinging kettlebells and lifting dumbbells and all the rest of it. Your training history is unique to you, which means that you have to work to your current ability and skill level, not mine and not anybody else's. Neutral, as I mentioned, does not mean straight. Neutral means that you preserve your natural S-curve from start to finish on any given movement, whether it's a push, a pull, a hinge, or a squat pattern. Okay? So what we are chasing here, when I refer to neutral spine, is that your spine, that your back position does not change shape. It does not go from neutral, okay, it does not go from neutral to flexed, or from flexed to extended, or from neutral to extended. We should be able to preserve the natural S-curve as you go through any motion. Push-ups, squats, deadlifts, rows, chin-ups, you name it. The goal is to keep a neutral spine from the beginning of the exercise to the end. Dot point, end of sentence. Does that make sense? Sweet. And the reason that this is important is because think about building a tower, okay? You can build a really high tower when you stack blocks, one on top of the other, very, very precisely. The same thing is true for your spine, and my spine, and everybody's spine, is the strongest and most stable position for your spine is when your intervertebral discs are stacked atop another. Okay? So this is where we don't want excessive curves in the spine. So if this is my neutral, I don't want to be lifting with a flexed spine like this, whether it's my upper or whether it's, if I'm going for a deadlift, whether it's my lower back buckling. It's not strong and it certainly isn't safe. Okay, so we want neutral, preserving the natural S-curve from the start position to the top and back down if I use the deadlift as the example. Okay? Now, there is a caveat and there is something that I do need to explain so you understand it. And I will do a follow-up video to this to demonstrate this in more detail. A change of direction or angle is different to a change of shape. Let me demonstrate. Take my humble broomstick and place it down my spine. And yes, I know you just said the spine isn't straight. It's just a visual representation. If I go through a hinge pattern, think deadlift, good morning, RDL, kettlebell swing, hip dominant movement. If I hinge from my hips correctly, what you'll see is a big bend at my hip joint. The broomstick does not change its shape. It remains, air quotes, straight. Air quotes, neutral, natural curves. It stays pinned to my body. It doesn't change its shape. What it does do is change direction or angle. I start vertical, and it changes to horizontal-ish. See that? The broomstick, i.e. my spine, hasn't changed its fundamental shape. It is still neutral, okay? It's pivoting across the hip joint. Hips are moving, spine is not. This would be a change in spinal position. The spine is now bent. The spine is now bent. And I can hear it. It's crackling. It wants to break in half, okay? That is not good. It's not strong and it's not safe. The best, strongest, and most reliable shape for you, for me, to anybody to take when strength training is neutral. Cool? So when we're doing core training, preserving neutral spine, whether you're holding a dumbbell by the side and it wants to pull you across, whether you're doing a rack carry with a lunge and it wants to rotate you, okay? Whether you're doing a single arm bench press or dumbbell press and your body wants to twist, okay? Whether you're doing a super heavy deadlift and all your spine wants to do is flex because it's easier. Your goal is to resist the movement of your spine. Does that make sense? So guys, that's what core training really is. You have to resist arching, rounding, twisting, and side bending. No matter what exercise you're doing, try and stay neutral. Shoulders are square, hips are square, shoulders are level, elbows are level, hands are level. And there's going to be a few little discrepancies, but that is the rule. That is the principle. That is the law that you are trying to abide by. And it doesn't matter of your goal. It doesn't matter what training tool you use, whether it's just your body weight, whether it's light dumbbells, whether it's heavy dumbbells, whether it's a dead ball, a barbell, kettlebell, sandbag. It doesn't matter. This is a principle. It's not an opinion, it's a principle, it's a fact. If you can stack your joints one on top of the other, especially under load, you will be significantly safer, you will leak less energy, and you will reduce your risk of hurting yourself when lifting weights. So guys, that's what core training is. It's not sit-ups, it's not fucking crunches, it's about doing your big compound movements and also some isolated exercises, planks, plank variations, offsetting load where you're loading one side of your body but not the other. These are all great ways for you to effectively strengthen your trunk. So as I mentioned, it's this segment right here, this rectangle between your hips and your shoulders. You're trying to prevent that from moving or changing shape when you do a push-pull, hinge, squat pattern, whatever it is you're doing. So I hope that helps. Hope it gives you a very good understanding of what core training really is and how you can incorporate it into your training routine. As I mentioned, I'm going to do a follow-up video to detail this a little bit clearer with some actual demonstrations of exercises. If you have any questions, queries, comments, drop them below. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found it useful and you can use it to your advantage in your own strength training. Thanks for watching.